Hi, comic book fans, and welcome to another SuddenlyComics.com video, and it's the price variance. Yay! Okay, and the plan this week was we were going to do Werewolves and Mummies, but Allan turned up with Ghouls and Ghosts. So you're going to get Werewolves and Mummies from me, and you're going to get Ghoulies and Ghosties from Allan. So Allan, you can kick off.
So I figure I should bring in the Scooby Doo of the Golden Age.
The Scooby Doo of the Golden Age. Now you've got me intrigued.
Yeah. And it's actually a very famous title. It's Phantom Stranger.
Oh, right. Why is he the Scooby Doo of the Golden Age?
Well, so the original Phantom Stranger is kind of like a detective.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's so if you read the very first story, it's basically this girl, she's like an heiress, right? And somebody wants to get her money. So he's like haunting her. He's like, oh, she reads this book, this magic book.
Okay.
And all of a sudden it brings up the ghosts, and the ghosts are all like spooky. But then Phantom Stranger comes in and basically solves the case. And it's like, oh, it's you with the mat. It's very Scooby Doo, very that kind of thing. It's funny. I was like, oh my god, am I reading Scooby Doo or am I reading like Phantom Stranger? It was really interesting. So the original Phantom Stranger is kind of like stories like that, where it's like these ghost stories or things where there's actually like somebody pretending to be a ghost. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, yeah.
So
it was really the caretaker in a mask all along.
Yeah, exactly. So this is number one. I'm going to show you the whole collection. I'm not sure if I'm showing them in order. I'm not showing. Wait, I want to show them in order.
Was that Allan? Was that first one his first appearance?
First appearance.
Yeah.
These are all super rare books, by the way. Super rare, super valuable. Like usually you can expect anywhere from 500 to a couple thousand.
Yeah.
A range.
Yeah.
Low grade 500. And usually there's a bit of a bidding war for them.
Yeah.
Very sought after. So Phantom Stranger is a number 2, and it's like a 3.5. It's pretty low grade. They're really hard to find in high grade, actually. And that's number 2. Number 3.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
I had the whole set. There's 6 in the set.
Yeah.
One sec. I gotta show number 4, and they're all low grade. The ones I have.
Yeah.
I'll take it out of the bag so you can see it. It's really nice covers, actually.
They are nice covers.
I try to get, like, if I'm going to get a low grade, I try to get one where it's just the spine that's mangled. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So you can still see most of the cover. Yeah. That's fine. That looks fine.
Yeah, it's really just up here. You can see that it's just like decayed on the top here.
Yeah.
And then the spine is a bit of a mess. It's like a 1/8, but it's actually a very sharp 1/8 because the cover itself is good.
Yeah.
Even the back's quite nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's just, as I said, it's just the top that has a bit of just a bit of falling apart kind of thing. Yeah, it's like brittle pages. So it is a low grade. And then we got number 5. This is my favorite of the covers. I love these roller coaster covers. I don't know why. I just love roller coaster covers. And like the card.
Do you prefer roller coaster covers or bubblegum covers?
I like both. I collect both.
Okay.
I have a lot of. I was going to do a video on bubblegum covers because I have a lot of really great ones. One of my favorite bubblegum covers, actually, just off topic here. But one of my favorite bubblegum covers is from this like busty bondage comic. Okay, it's called Buffy, and it's like this like girl that's her boobs are like massive, but she's just blowing it. It's just a really great cover, even though it's not meant for kids, but it's just a really great bubblegum cover. It's Buffy number 1 or 2. Like it's. I have it somewhere, but it's a really great cover. So I like bubblegum covers too. It's always those kind of themed covers are kind of cool. You know what I mean? But yeah, I like these roller coaster ones. I really like this one because it's got like the number 13 on the card. You know, it's got all these unlucky things.
Yeah.
And then it's got the the typical sort of golden age style. Like this is very golden age style, like the phantom-y kind of coming in. I think it's really great. And then the broken track, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you always have to have that. And then number 6. So this is a full set.
Very nice.
So there's only six in the series. But yeah, I thought it was a great series though. It's definitely worth checking out. Yeah. And this one, you know, it's a really solid cover. It's just the corner is missing.
Oh yeah, I can see. Yeah.
So that's why it got such a low grade.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that one corner, it'd be like a 5. You know, a solid 5. It's quite nice.
That's really nice.
So yeah.
Very nice.
So that's my Phantom Stranger collection. So
right. So I've so back onto werewolves.
Back into werewolves now.
So I did do some searching out for werewolves, and I did find a couple of werewolves on the cover. The first one is this one, and I love this cover. This is one of my favorite Moon Knight covers. It's Bill Sienkiewicz. And there's a werewolf here, and it is a werewolf, and it's called Simon, believe it or not.
Oh, that's a good name for a werewolf. Okay.
So this is Moon Knight number 8 from the first series, Bill Sienkiewicz cover, and this is also my spec book. You know, Moon Knight series coming up. These Moon Knight books are going up. This one I think is one of the nicest covers. I really love this cover. So not only it's got a werewolf on it, but it's also a good spec.
Very good. Yeah.
And there's another.
I think anything Moon Knight right now is super hot. Like you know, everyone's specking on every random character in the series, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it is the spec book at the moment. Here's another one from a later series.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And this is a bit of a cheat, because that actually isn't a werewolf. It looks like a werewolf.
Oh, it looks like a werewolf.
Yeah, it's actually, if you read the story, it's a space wolf.
Okay, well, a space werewolf is a werewolf.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right. So anyway, but that's quite a nice cover. I think 2016 or something. And then my final werewolf cover is no, it's not my final one actually, but it's and again, although I've done a spec, I think this is pretty good spec actually. This is Werewolf by Night number 1. This is the second series, so everybody's specking on Werewolf by Night first series and the Marvel spotlights and all that type of stuff, but nobody's really clicked onto this second Werewolf by Night, and this is a really nice one because it's got a wraparound cover with
oh nice,
a werewolf on the back. So yeah, I quite like that one.
I actually was trying to find that one. That one's hard to find. It's actually hard to find.
Is it? Okay. Like, yeah, I don't think it was. I don't think it was a big print run.
Yeah, it's actually a hard book to find. I think there's some new character. I think isn't that the one where there's a new character, a new version of Werewolf by Night? I
honestly don't know, and I haven't read it. I just like the cover.
Yeah, I think that one's actually, like, you know, I think that one's going up in value as well.
Is it? Oh, okay. And then this is from the latest series. This was a variant cover number 1 from the 2020.
Or maybe it's that series. Maybe it's that
this series that's come out. It's got a new. It's not Jack Russell anymore. It's a Latino.
That's the one. That's the one I'm referring to.
This is the one that's going up. This is the third series. Yeah. This is the one.
Third series. Okay.
Yeah. And there's another one from that series.
Because I think that's the character they're going to use.
Yes, that's right. Because they've advertised for a Latino actor, so it's going to probably be this guy, not Jack Russell.
The original, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, have you got any
cool.
Ghosts and Ghoulies for us, Alan?
So I'm debating about what to show. Okay, so I brought like another series. It's kind of ghosts. I'm not sure if it's really ghosts, but it's a new series. And it's one that I think is a good one because Like I'm a big fan of horror movies, like horror, like I watched from like the earliest horror movies, like King Kong, and the early like the Bureau of what's his name, the Dracula one, like Nosferatu and all those ones, right? The early stuff all the way up
The
till
Creature
now.
from the Black Lagoon.
Creature, Black Lagoon, that's more Atomic Age, but yeah. So it's like all the different horror things I've watched. I pretty much watched it all, and I've watched some really obscure ones. But horror was kind of in a lull for about 5 to 10 years, where like really reality shows and whatever sort of took over for a while, and horror was kind of dead. I don't know. So, but there was a series that kind of brought horror back, and that was like the Conjuring series.
Oh yes, yeah.
So DC has like their Conjuring.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah.
So this is in their black label, so they can be a little bit more scary and a little bit more. So this is DC Horror presents The Conjuring, The Lover.
Oh,
this is number 1.
Yeah.
And I have the variant covers to this as well. So it's like some kind of cool covers. And then they do like sort of like that VHS kind of cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like kind of cool. And then number 2. So these are kind of like, I think they're kind of interesting. It's kind of an interesting little series. And we got Conjuring, the number 3. And for some reason, I thought I had it, but I don't have number 4. I have number 5, but so there's only 5 in the series, and I'm missing number 4. So I'll have to pick that up later. So it's not an expensive series, no. But I do recommend, if you're gonna buy the series, buy the VHS B covers, like the special variant covers, because those kind of had that bit of coolness, like a bit of nostalgia. And I think people will go for those covers more. So it's just a little series that I recommend. And it's called Conjuring, The Lover.
Okay, I'm going to look that up.
1 through 5. Yeah.
Right, Alan, I'm going to challenge your brain now.
Okay, good. Let's challenge my brain.
This is a first appearance of a character, and he is vampire related. Okay.
Oh, vampire related. Okay.
Yeah, I know we've done vampires, but I couldn't find anything werewolf related. So here we go. You probably, if you know it, you're going to know it immediately. If you don't,
I think I know it already without you even saying. Oh, maybe not. Wait, I thought it was going to be like Deacon Frost or something like that.
No.
Spider-Man.
So Peter Parker, Spider-Man, number 76 from 97.
Let me just Google that for a second. And
right, it is actually the first appearance of this character on the cover, Shock, but that's not him, because that would be too easy. There's a more major first appearance in this.
Okay, so like I like it when the name is on the cover, makes it like so much easier for me.
Yeah, that would, but that wouldn't really have challenged you.
Major Spider-Man vampires. Like I'm like I can only think of Morbius, right?
Well, he has got links to Morbius. So
I don't know those. I don't know. I probably can say it right now.
No, okay. It's a character
who
appears in this, and his name is actually going to be in the Morbius film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's going to be played by Matt Smith, the ex-Doctor Who. And
okay.
It's a character called Loxias Crown, who becomes a character called the Hunger.
Oh, I've heard of the Hunger, but I didn't know the...
Yeah, so it's the first appearance. In this, he appears as Loxias Crown. He later becomes the Hunger after he's absorbed some of Morbius's vampirism. So it's the first appearance of Loxias Crown.
Loxias Crown. I didn't know that character, but I knew the Hunger. I've heard of the Hunger before, but
yeah,
the Hunger he becomes in a later issue, right? So
yes. So this is.
I think I have the first appearance of the Hunger,
right?
But not. I didn't know his. it's like one of those things, like I always wonder about this in terms of first appearances. Is it the first appearance, the character's first appearance, like the actual person, or when they become
that, well, I think
which is more important?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think both. Yeah,
Both.
but it seems like it's usually when they become whatever superhero or supervillain they are. That's when the price really goes up. Yeah.
Right now, Alan, we're introducing a new section here where I'm going to ask you a question, so we can find out more about you and your thoughts. So you asked me a question on my channel. I'm going to ask you a question. So I recently produced a video about the UK Comic Art Convention that I went to in 1990, which is 31 years ago. And I raised a question in my mind, and I'm going to ask it to you to hear your answers. So that's 31 years ago. So you were around 31 years ago.
Yep. I was just a baby though. That's tricky.
I know how old you are. So you were of the age where you got an interest in women. So we'll count that as being an adult. I want you to tell me two things that you think are better about the comic market than they were 31 years ago, and two things that you think are worse about the comic market from 30 years ago.
So one of the big things that happened, like back in the 90s, the way we got information was two ways, like in terms of just information about comics. Was one, the guides. There was like the Overstreet and also Wizard. Wizard was I loved Wizard.
Yeah, I like
Wizard was kind of like Comic Tom. It was that, it was like that top 10 list. These are the hot books you gotta get. But it was Wizard only dropped once a month.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a once a month thing. And these are the hot books that everybody has to have for whatever reason.
And it always used to have a price guide thing in the back of it, didn't it?
Yeah, they would have a price guide as well. And, the price guide, it didn't have like the grades, like, we now have like 0 to basically 10, right?
Yeah.
But back then it was like, low, medium, and high.
Yeah.
And if you go to Key Collector Comics, it's kind of like that style too, in a way. But, that Wizard magazine had, it really created that whole hype around certain comics being hot. They would have their hot list, and that was the only way that we knew which books were hot. In a way, like a lot of this, like the market is really driven by somebody being an expert or guru saying, hey, these books are the hot ones. You got to get these books. And everyone starts buying those books. Well, Wizard Guide was that. And the only other way that we really knew what books to potentially find or look for was to trust our LCS, the local comic book shop. The guy there, he would say, oh, yeah, you should buy these books, or, real comic collectors buy these books. They would always do that, right? And they would always try to get rid of their dollar bin books. Like shadiest people in the world. So that was sort of the 90s. Now, nowadays we have like so many things. We have like, and this is what I would say are the good things about now. We have the internet. So I didn't know, like so many times I would hold some random book, and if it wasn't mentioned in the Overstreet guide that it was a first appearance or some major key, you wouldn't know, and you'd be like, oh, it's just an action one, can't be worth anything. Dollar bin. You didn't really know. And it was like, there was a few books everybody knew, but there was a lot of books that we really just didn't know.
No.
And nowadays there's no excuse. Everybody should know every single book. You can look it up, and there's just a lot more information. Also, there's the grading thing. The grading is so much more understood now. Like I can look at pretty much any book now because I'm so used to seeing all the slabs and what is contained within a slab that I know, like it's a 1, it's a 5. It's, I can pretty much guess within half a grade what that book's going to be, just because I've seen so many. But we didn't have that back in the day. We would either say this is a reader copy or it's not a reader copy. That was the two grading system. And it wasn't to the same sophistication.
Right.
And often you'd pay the same price for both. It was kind of crazy. So I think there's a lot more sophistication now in terms of the way comics are dealt with. There's the same hype. The 90s were all about hype. But I would say that's one of the good things about now. We got the much more information and the grading system. Those are the two big things.
Okay.
The things that I kind of enjoyed about the 90s, though, is if you had a bit of that knowledge, a bit of that, like, oh, this is maybe something that's kind of cool, and not many people had that knowledge. You were in a way a lot more powerful back then. You could sort of snipe a lot of really good things. Like I picked up the original Bone series for about the whole series. I mean, the whole entire series for like under $300. It was around $300-$400 for the whole entire series, all mint copies. And just because nobody knew, and I was
wouldn't
picking
do
up like
that wouldn't happen now. Because somebody's there on their phone with key collector, Bone number 1, $5,000 or whatever it is,
Yeah, exactly. And then I was picking up all the Warren magazines. I was paying $2 a cover, $2 a comic. And for like, Vampirella number 1, $2. Is people just didn't know. And that was nice. Hunting back then was much cooler.
Yeah.
There was always the hype books. The hype books were always way overpriced.
Yeah.
I remember Spawn number 1, which is kind of getting a revalue, it is going back up in value, but it's like, there's like millions of them. Like, I had three copies of number 1.
Yeah. Yeah. And I looked at this the other day. Do you know how many 9/8 of Spawn number 1 there are?
Like 100,000 or something crazy.
No. This is 9/8. So there were about 9 to 10,000 9/8. I mean,
okay. So yeah. But there's like 100,000 on the census, right? Like spawns in general.
Yeah. That's just 9/8. Yeah.
Yeah. So 9/8. Yeah. So still 10,000. That's like if you look at the print runs nowadays the print runs are around 10,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's like saying the entire print run is a 9/8. It's like who's gonna give value to that? It just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, that's one thing I liked about the 90s collecting, though. Except for those hot books that everybody wanted, the stuff that was there was a lot more stuff that was off the beaten path that you could pick up that was really, really affordable.
Yeah.
And really cool. I mean, really cool stuff that just people didn't know. No. And I miss that. Cheap buy-in.
Yeah, and I miss that. I used to go to comic shops in London and I could find an early issue Batman, and pay 20-30 pounds for it.
Yeah.
You can't go and find an early issue Batman and pay 20-30, it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah, I know. It's everything now. They know exactly how much it is. The prices are very, very firm nowadays too. And usually I found like whatever the fair market value is, you take that number and then multiply it by another 20%. You add an extra 20% to it. That's the fair. That's what you end up paying. It's just so brutal. Yeah. So I miss that. Part of the 90s.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Good.
I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. That was good. Thank you for that. Okay. Have you got any more comics you want to show us?
I can show you one book. I don't know why I even brought this book. Kind of not related to any of the themes that we're talking about, but it's kind of horror related.
Okay.
And kind of very, very iffy on that. It's Brother Voodoo. I just had it there, and I'm like, I was like,
that counts.
Kind of, yeah. So I don't know. This is one of those books that maybe a year ago was kind of hot, and now it's kind of fallen back down again.
Yeah, it's gone a bit colder.
It's I say this is sort of like a good time to maybe pick this one up. That's all I'm saying. It's Strange Tales 169.
Yeah.
They know that this character is coming out. He's going to be in one of the movies.
Yeah.
But there's just hasn't been a trailer or something. And once that trailer comes out, this book's hot again. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like right now is a good time to buy because there was a hype.
Yeah, there was, and it's gone.
There was hype last year where it was like kind of spiking, and then it dropped again.
I think it was a casting thing, wasn't it? But we haven't seen a trailer or anything. So
yeah. So that's generally the what I do is if there's a casting, like it's sort of like the stocks. Whenever you buy stock, you buy on like there's always the news, and then there's there's like some
sell on the sell on the rumor, sell on the buy on the rumor, sell on the fact. Yeah, exactly. So right now the rumor is out, but there's no fact. Like once that trailer drops, then people will be like, oh, I should have picked that book up. And then the book goes crazy. So right now we're in that kind of period where you can pick it up reasonably affordable. I think it's like $100 to $200, I'm going to say. So yeah, that's my spec. I kind of like those specs where it's just sort of in that low. Yeah, no, I agree.
Where people are.
Yeah, I reckon you could buy that now and make 20% in quite quickly.
Yeah, it's like a lot of these like more modern, like that's a Bronze Age book, but a lot of these ones you can flip pretty quick right now.
Yeah,
it's a good time to like if you're just trying to make money on comics, you just look for the right timing, and then you can easily flip and get a pretty quick return on your money.
Yeah. So I've got one more. I'm showing this because I've got one comic with a mummy on the front.
Oh, cool. Okay, so this is your mummy one. So the theme supposedly was mummies.
This is my one comic with a mummy on the front. And it's the living mummy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. It's quite nice, isn't it? Supernatural Thrillers, number 11. It isn't the first appearance of the living mummy. That was about 5 issues before, I think. But there you go. I do have a comic with a mummy on the cover. There we go. That cheered me up.
That's cool. That's very cool. So yeah, I actually, I have a bunch of mummy ones, but I didn't bring them. I didn't bring them at all.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can bring your mummies and werewolves next week, and I'll bring my ghosts and ghoulies.
Okay, so it'll be like the opposite of what we did this time.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan.
Okay, thanks, Alan. Another great show, and I'll see you next week for some ghosts and ghoulies, and then we'll probably do a big show for Halloween, and I'm going to be dressing up. So,
wow,
that'll be exciting.
I'm not sure if I'm that ambitious, but okay.
No, well, one of my mates is really into sort of dressing up for
cosplay.
Well, no, I wouldn't say he's into. If I told him he was into cosplay, he'd think it was a bit strange. But he likes dressing up for Halloween, so I've given him the challenge of dressing me up for Halloween in some of his stuff.
Oh, cool.
Right. Okay. So that's it for this week. Cheers and enough said.